While the Warthog is doing the demonstration over Lake Washington, what you see is the precision that is the Blue Angels. Those are the pilots, the two final pilots of the 6 who will be performing the demonstration here today. Every performance by the Blue Angels anywhere in the country begins and ends this way. The pilots very precisely walking down the flight line, saluting their ground personnel, and then climbing aboard their FA-18 Hornets. Again, before these jets come flying overhead, we'll see Fat Albert and the Navy as well. The Blue Angels, there you see, cockpits closing, canopies going down, and you see the numbers on the tail feathers back there, 1 through 6. The boss is number 1 at the far end. We talked to him, if you were with us first thing this morning. Kevin Mannix, and he will lead those flyers out, and they will put on a terrific demonstration. He always loved Seafair as a kid, but after he turned 14, all of his summers were spent fishing, so he really enjoyed this chance to kind of get out on the water and see the races and the air shows. Our good friend Phil Harris, another one of those boat captains in the Deadliest Catch, has been down here in the pits joining us this weekend. It's good to see him and all of those involved. Meantime, the Blue Angels are getting set now to roll out along the flight line at Boeing Field. They'll be taking off in just a couple of minutes. They'll be preceded here to the air show by Fat Albert, which is already in the air heading this way. And we will also introduce you to Lieutenant Daniel McShane from North Carolina and the Blue Angels. And he'll be our narrator to talk about the demonstration by the Navy Blue Angels. But first, we are going to watch the Blues get set for their performance. And we're welcoming Fat Albert as it gets close to the race course, and we get prepared to do the air show here today for the Navy Blue Angels. And it's always a treat when you see the big blue belly of Fat Albert come flying over center course, because that means the Blues are not far behind. And we're so glad again that the Blue Angels are part of Seafair, as they are every year. Well, we have introduced you to, we showed him to you, now let's get a chance to talk to him. Lieutenant Daniel McShane, a native of North Carolina, who will be our kind of eyes and ears on what we're seeing and hearing out of the Blue Angels. Welcome to Seattle.
Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
The performance of the Blues today, will it be different than ones that we've seen in the past? Will it be generally the same? And kind of what will we see?
Well, we're going to look at a lot of the same maneuvers, but this is a different show for us because it's considered a remote, where we take off from Boeing Field and we fly over here over Lake Washington instead of flying over the airfield like we do at most air shows. As we watch the jets roll out right now, this is, as I mentioned a few moments ago, this is part of the precision that is the Blue Angels, right? That's right. They taxi out in tight precision just as they will perform from here today, and you see Boss Mannix there pulling out there to lead the formation down the taxiway and get ready to take off. I mean, it really, to the point of, as we saw them in formation, walking out to the, or was it a march? What is that called? We call it a walk down. Walk down. But it is a military precise fashion in which they walk down, they salute their crew chiefs, they get into the cockpits with the crew chief assurance that that jet is ready to go and ready to perform here today safely. So pilot and crews very close. Very close. It's a dynamic that the Navy and Marine Corps exemplify. Of course, we see it also in our Air Force friends, as you've just seen the P-51 and the A-10 flying their precise movements. They have the same kind of thing. Let's talk about the officers who will be performing in the demonstration here today, led by Kevin Mannix, the boss. That's right. Captain Mannix is from Lindenhurst, New York. He's a native there, and he's been flying for 22 years in the Navy. Former commanding officer in Japan of the Royal Maces. Lieutenant Commander Paul Brantuis from the right wing there. He is from San Diego, California, former Tomcat pilot, now flying the Hornet. And this is unusual. Number 3 pilot is also a former Tomcat pilot. That's Lieutenant Mark Swingman. He's from Warrenton, Virginia. Now, why is that unusual? Well, we have 2 F-14 Tomcat pilots on the team this year. We also did last year as well, and one of them departed, and we brought on a new one. But it was a different aircraft, and of course now we've seen the sundown in 2005 of the F-14, the mighty workhorse there of the Navy going away. Number 4, Major Clint Harris, United States Marine Corps. He's the slot pilot and training officer for the command, and he's kind of responsible for getting the team really tight, working those precise movements.
We'll talk more about that slot pilot and what he has to do, and it's quite a job back there.
Yes, sir. Now, this gentleman is your hometown hero, Lieutenant Craig Olson, right here. He's from right here in Seattle, in the Seattle area. And this is his 5th year on the team, if you can believe it. He came back to join us last year.
That's a little unusual, isn't it?
It is unusual. Most jobs are 2 to 3 years. And, of course, this is his 5th year. And then we have Major Nate Miller rounding out the 6th. He's the opposing solo. And here comes Fat Albert right here, flown by our all-Marine crew. Flying Fat Albert today is Major Drew Hess.
In just a few moments, there they are. The best of the best, the Navy Blue Angels, and we'll be back with their performance in just a couple of minutes.